Afro Samurai has the craziest hands ever put to screen. This is if Huey Freeman was finally able to achieve his martial arts potential and got to work running fades. The story starts with Afro's father running a fade with McCree from Overwatch, and both of them are getting busy. OG seemingly got this in the bag somehow. Dude still finds a way to make this a tie game, and by that I mean a split decision. McCree takes the headband from OG Samurai because in this world there's two headbands. One gives you the powers of a god that only the number 2 can challenge for, but the number 2 headband makes a Royal Rumble every time you pop out because anyone can challenge for it. Due to the fact his father just became Siamese twins in front of his eyes, Afro is now engaging in a revenge story the likes of which you have never seen. He even gets hit with the Itachi, resulting in him growing up to become a D1 demon. 20 people immediately pull up on him ready to snatch his chain. Afro don't even talk, just puts people in his blunt, slices shotgun shells in half, all types of ish. I'm not gonna lie, your favorite MC could never. The amount of aura this man has is off the charts. Man threw the scabbard of his sword into somebody's throat. Who else has done that in the history of the world? As all of this is happening, some Master Roshi penis head looking dude is scouting him out. Remember that for later. Afro heads into a bar that's on the path to the number 1 headband and walks past some random who felt like a punk welterweight. Weak slams Afro's lemonade down. You know what? I'm gonna get another one. Put it on his tab. Who said who tab? Backhands him, gave him a mild concussion for playing with him. That is my goat! Afro gets walked down on by this dude named Soshin. His man's ninja like, yeah, nah, don't do that. He's built like War Machine. You don't want this problem. Hold on, run me that one. Remember that penis head, nutsack looking dude I was talking about earlier? He's number 2, and apparently there's a whole clique of them. I wasn't really paying attention, only because I was mad that he's got baddies just licking him up and stroking his beard. Why don't I get privileges like this? I'm starting to hate it here. What made me love it here is Afro's homeboy ninja, aka Rummy from the Boondocks. Cuz been spitting banger after banger. After that fight, Afro starts to get shaky, wobbly, and he drops. I'm thinking he's having like a nah-mess flashback or something. Or there was something in the lemonade, but it was actually during the fight cuz got sniped with a poison arrow. Now, one of the brothers is feeling like Popeye off the spinach. He believes he can dog walk my glorious king, only for his brother to let him know, nah, you're tweaking right now. He might be poisoned, but you're not that cold, bro. He wasn't hearing that. That man jumped, pops out, RPG. Afro slices in half with the quickness, so thankfully he's still alive. The whole thing does instead blow up. The mountain starts to crumble. Afro starts to fall. Ninja's nowhere to be found. And I can't act like I don't see where he's coming from. Next episode starts with a flashback to Kid Afro, who has the number 2 headband, but isn't cold at the stage in the game. He gets estimated, has his bag open, and inside of it was his effing OG's head. Because this world is shrouded in sickness, they start playing monkey in the middle with that man's cranium. You know what? I'm tripping. Here's your father's head back. KOs! You know, I was thinking he was going to find a way to hold on to this headband until he reached adulthood. Now look at him! I want to know how they effing found out he had the number 2 headband so fast. Does that thing have a beeper on it? Some girl in Ben 10? Is that my boy Yuri Lowenthal? Find him, resuscitate him, take him into their dojo. One day when he's out there selling these vegetables for the team, he hears about the number 2 headband. Obviously he's like, I need to get on that ASAP. Walks down on somebody who's presumably having sex with a whore. Like, where's the number 2 headband at? Before I...
Wait, cheese in your snitching ass, twin.
Bro, reach for the strap quicker than young M.A. Afro decapitates him. The dude who he killed apparently had a couple siblings and they trying to join Get Back Gang. Unfortunately for them, Afro is blue locked in, proceeds to send these ham and eggers to the upper room. Before the last member of the family's old Yellard, Afro asks where the number 2 at. There's a new number 2. The old one's gone and you're not finding the new one. You're not Batman. You have no detective abilities. You're not gonna detect where this guy is for the rest of your life. Peace out. Afro wakes up to some baddie taking care of his wounds. She doesn't kill him, which which is pretty cool of her. Ninja somehow managed to find a way down there, and he's still just talking that talk. There's never a time where he doesn't feel like a quip or a joke is unnecessary. If I'm Afro, I would have tried to slap him, because where the F were you when things were getting tough for me? That's why I'm pretty sure Ninja's like not a real person and almost a figment of his imagination. He hasn't interacted with any real characters, he's been ignored the whole time, and he kind of just vanishes often. Anywho, it looks like that baddie Okiku is a traitor. She's been in cahoots with those gang of brothers known as the Empty Seven, relaying information. My thing is, why didn't she just kill Afro when she had the chance? He's passed out so much this episode. You wouldn't even have to do all this extra research. Y'all are gonna try to kill him anyways. Who cares how it's done? Fortunately, Afro does get to hit that, which is effing peak, especially since this was his childhood friend or crush or whatever. After mashing parts, Okiku destroys the cell phone, which was going to copy his memories and his sword abilities. Thankfully, she did, cause Afro was on to her and he was about to murk her. Shorty still gets murked though, since snitches aren't tolerated in the trenches. The information on his swordsmithing abilities still gets stolen, and now things are looking bad. Things are looking dire. RIP to a baddie. It's always a painful time when an attractive woman gets taken down. Everybody goon for Okiku one time in the comments. Please, man. Afro moves on with Ninja Intel, and guess what? The machine that has all of his abilities is about to be taken out for a test drive, man. The real Afro pulls up on the Afro droid, who's supposed to be a 20% stronger clone. Not sure how they quantified that, but that is a spooky percentage. One exchange, and my goat's already bleeding. This is a nail biter until Afro remembers one of his mentor's old teachings about unpredictability. With the amount of attacks he dodged, I'm assuming he's an admiral in the Weaving Nation. Proceeds to decimate his clone with one strike, is what I was about to say until the droid started flickering. I think he's about to pop back up like the Undertaker. Afro presses on, encounters one of the seven brothers, and they play Enchance's new album, so he lets them continue being great. Finds number 6, aka the RPG dude from earlier. Afro's healthy now, so you're screwed. You're gonna die. Say goodnight. Afro weaves his first attack, comes off the top rope, turns 6 into a human kebab. I'm thinking that's it, but for some reason Brody's holding on to the sword while it's inside of his guts. Cause why are you letting me inside you? You're bugging out right now. Pride Month is over. It was all strategy though. Two of his brothers hop out of his effing backpack. Afro immediately disses the sword, and Six's brothers show no mercy. Absolutely skewer him, all just so they could get their hands on Afro, which had me wondering, are you going to have separate funerals for each piece of brother that you've got on the ground? The Seven's only chance of victory is if they make sure that Afro don't get his sword. Boom! Afro gets one of them with the scabbard. Older brother's like, yo, come on, you're not tightening up. Too late. Afro throws one brother into the other, gets him a cool 2-for-1 value pack. Remember Afro droid? Yeah. Remember when I said he was gonna pop back up like the Undertaker? Yeah, he pops back up, but not like the Undertaker. More so like the Terminator, man. He looks like the Terminegro. I'm scared. Afro versus the Terminegro is probably the most competitive fight we've had in this show so far, because he's come back with some new tricks. He's got effing disassemblable arms on some sorcery activity. On top of that, that man keep a laser. Thankfully, my goat swiftly evades it and chops off some more of the Terminegro's limbs. But that's when he tries his final maneuver.
Grab me that
beam. Afro gets on top of him and starts treating him like a controller that doesn't work anymore, making the Terminegro take to the skies to catch up by Black Knights. Super duper tough. I'm adding it to the playlist after this. While they're fighting mid-air, Afro comes down with the Wrath of Odin and slides inside of...
Pause.
He slides inside of Cuz Scout No Diddy. He uses him as a crash pad so he can land safely and comfortably. Somehow, the Terminegro is not dead, but Afro puts his sword away. I'm like, is he orphaning right now? What's going on here? No, he knew it was GG. He gets sliced down the middle and explodes on himself. Now, I was gonna say that's not an innuendo, but then he was like,
that felt good.
Stop talking like that, bro. You're dying of virgin. Afro take the elevator to the next floor, and one of the brothers pops out. The episode is almost over. Can you not chill? So Afro puts him on ice. The point is he's dead. When he walks out, we see a bareheaded bum. But if y'all was paying attention to the childhood section of this video, and if you listen to his voice, that is Ben 10. That is Sasuke with his friend, sister, whatever's barehead on him. And it looks like they're gonna have to run the ones since Ben not really in the mood for talking. He's with the slicing and the dicing. However, Afro hasn't drawn his sword. I think it's because they had some good times together back in their youth. Nobody gotta die here. Why don't we just talk it out? What happened to conversations? This is clearly painful for both of them. You see Ben crying, fighting his heart out, hitting him with everything in the utility belt, calling him every name in the book except the N-word. Afro has still not drawn his sword. He's on defense mode right now. Flashback again to one day where Afro's master comes into possession of the number 2 headband. Afro now has a decision to make. He either gets to choose to let revenge go, embrace this new life. Afro straight up asks Master OG, big homie, you don't got the number 2 headband, right? Cause that'd be real unfortunate. Cuz don't even say nothing. He's like, yo, I'm gonna be posted up here. You wanna run this fade? Let's go. Cuz pulls up, whole dojo pulls up, killers pull up, coming for that number 2 headband. Afro's master runs up on all these challengers to defend the World Heavyweight Championship. As this is happening, everybody's, I was gonna say scrapping, but no, they're all dying. Every student in that dojo factory reset themselves to level 1 in times of hardship, so they're all getting blasted. Ben's still alive though, witnessing all of this. Afro's master says, yo Afro man, you still want this head? Ben is validly hurt, and I am too, because if I'm Afro, I'm gonna have to choose the dojo. I'm sorry, Pops. After he gets his headband, what is really gonna be the point of his existence? Everybody he cared about and loved is gone. You can't trust people afterwards because you've got the number 1 headband. At the same time, though, why couldn't his sensei just give him the headband so none of this could have happened and everybody could have lived? How could you do this?
Not my dad! You also hear something!
Kinda valid, because if you've got a black father who is a good parent, that's a generational achievement. Ben's not hearing me though. He says, I treated you like my brother and you gonna go out like this? You're a punk! Seemingly falling to his demise, that's when Ninja's introduced. I'm a smidge flabbergasted, because usually you see somebody get consumed by revenge, but they'll have the power of friendship bring them out of it. Afro is bent on revenge, and nothing and nobody's going to stop him. Ben's bare head comes off, and you can see his face, and that man is like, yo, since that day that you betrayed us and our loved ones, I haven't stopped crying. That's heavy. Afro, you kind of a filthy traitor, kind of a filthy... Don't all that though. All of a sudden you see blood, and I think Afro's finally drawn his sword. But I was wrong. Oh goodness, I was wrong. He sliced my boy Ninja, and that hurt my feelings, because I thought he was so cool and funny. I know there's no coming back. He's going to cut down his friend, grab the number 1 headband, and be alone for the rest of his life. These two get to really working. They are throwing some masterful hands. Ben is still managing to put in overtime, extra shifts on my boy Afro right now. I ain't gonna hold you. For some reason, when victory is within his grasp, Ben's like, yo twin, you gonna really have to lock in and kill me if you want the number 1 headband. He killed your master and he watched all of y'all die. What made you think he wasn't going to? Smokes Ben in one singular swift motion. This was one of my favorite fades in recent memory because of the way they built and set this fight up. I feel like even when Afro gets to the number 1, this fight won't be topped. Afro literally sheds a tear as he walked off after having killed Ben. Put me in my feelings immediately, because you don't see this man showing no emotion the whole show except right here. We still got quite a ways to go. Finally, Afro meets McCree, aka Justice, for the first time since his childhood, and McCree's like, yo man, I've been watching you. You've been doing your thing out here in these streets. You've been putting that pain in, but you're still weak. Now I'm invested. Hanging on to every word this McCree looking mother effer is saying. After smoking Afro's pappy, he realized he needs more bands. Your family, your friends, everybody you cared about dying was to get you to me so I could take your headband from you. The time for conversation is over. Now we getting to boxing. Afro cuts off both cousins' arms. In my mind, he should be smooth sailing to victory. Nah! That man was actually going through a tsunami of suffering. Justice comes out with a third arm. That's some new technology to me, because I'm more so known for my third The hair clip Afro obtained from his former trap queen blocks the blow, leading to Afro turning the connection to McCree's head from wired to Bluetooth. That man somehow reassembles himself like Perfect Cell and spears Afro through the skull. I was almost positive Afro was cooked, but the strength of his well-maintained Afro allowed him to slip through. Thank goodness he didn't have razors up. He'd be a dead man walking by now. Hits him with a slice. That wasn't enough. He couples it with the Barracuda blade. The Barracuda bite. You think we've reached the story's conclusion until you see Ben's still alive. Not only that, he's gotten the number 2 headband. They have to run it back one more time. I needed that to be the ending because I thought he was a way better and more emotionally compelling op for Afro to have. Brilliant writing, man. There is so much to love about this effing series, man. It's only 5 episodes, so it's short and compact, yet they're able to fit so much story into it. Let's talk about the talent of the cast. All them voice actors did a phenomenal job. The animation was smooth, crisp, pristine all the way through. Gorgeous to watch. On top of that, you don't really have to think too hard either while you viewing this. Just enjoy the ride and witness merciless hand throwing. This felt like the equivalent of effing WrestleMania. I just wish they hadn't killed my boy Ninja to achieve that. 150 likes if you want me to speak on the Afro Samurai movie. In the meantime, I've got other videos on hands being thrown. If y'all want to go watch those, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless. Cheers.